What up? How's it going, Eric?
Hello, hello.
It's going well. How are y'all doing?
Good. Oh,
Pretty good.
Good. Here's Ben right now.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you all so much for having us. This is dope.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Ben, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming on.
We usually have Cody. He should be coming on at any point, but we'll get the show going and then. Oh yeah. So we did the indie smoke sesh.
Mm-hmm.
Not that long ago. What was it?
It feels like a long time ago.
Like 2 months ago?
No, it wasn't 2 months ago. No way. That was
Maybe
It was in March.
it was
January, December. I don't know, something
Was
like
it
that.
Was it that long?
Yeah, because I was in New
Wasn't
York.
it?
I was with you,
I
Anthony.
feel like
that
it was in the summer. No,
No,
it wasn't a summer month.
no, it was like in March.
Damn.
Oh.
It was-
Wow. Yeah.
There's no way it was this. No, I need to look
Yeah.
this up a second. Sorry,
Yes, because I was in your apartment.
Yeah, but you came to New York a few times, Jake.
I'm pretty sure this was like March or would have
Hold
been
on.
like.
I'm
yeah,
going
like-
back in the record book.
Go back
Okay.
into the
It did-
archives.
But yeah, it
My
feels
brain
like it
is
was a
filled
little
like
bit
with
ago.
fog.
Yeah, that's what I was saying because it like of the campaign and everything. It's just been like a whirlwind.
September 2023 is when.
Holy
it was.
shit. Okay.
That's what I meant.
Jeez.
That's what you meant.
I was like,
Holy shit.
January?
Yeah. So when you came on, then first of all, first appearance of a dog on the podcast. One of your dogs. I don't know if it was Eric's
I think-
dog or.
I think it was both of us. I think we both showed off. I had a
I
beagle.
think yours is the one that sort of like stole, like kind of showed up and was just like,
Yeah.
and so I was just like, yeah, I also have dogs. Come on.
Happy to own that title. That's cool.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And then even back then, you were talking to us
Oh, that
about.
was for CyberSync. That's why
Yeah,
we were
that
on
makes
there.
sense. That makes
Yeah.
way more sense.
Because we wrote a dog story.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was for an anthology series that we were a part of for like a cyberpunk anthology.
Hell yeah.
It was a cyberpunk dog story.
Yeah.
That was that was like our like, how do we write a cyberpunk? We're like, well, it's a dog story.
Nice. That's pretty sick.
Yeah. It's all about like neural chips and being able to like shared consciousness. And so, yeah, like who wouldn't want to talk to their dog? So
Yeah.
that was
The prompt. And so that's where we went.
What if you did talk to your dog and you found out he was just a straight psychopath?
Dude,
We sort of had an idea like that.
Yeah.
But he was
like
more like he was like a dickhead. Like, oh man,
Yeah,
I
like,
actually
I was-
fucking hate this guy.
Like, yeah, he's like a racist asshole.
Yeah, you're my best friend, man. What the fuck happened?
Yeah.
Can we go back to just not?
Not
Talking.
understanding each other?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can never go back.
What up, stinky babies?
Oh, here's Cody.
Doing, y'all?
What's going on?
Hello.
I just joined up in time to hear about the cyberpunk dog story.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's out. That I think that they should be fulfilling backers here over the next couple of months, I think, because they just have like the order coming through with
Yeah, they ran into some like printing delays or some shit. Like apparently that's happening a lot.
like Comics Wellspring branched off from their original printer. So like they're like their own entity.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's right. But we'll get our own books, so we'll be able to like sell them separately and at tables finally.
Hell yeah.
Nice. So for everyone listening, we've got Benjamin Collins, Eric Allred here to talk about Outer Spaced. Outer Spaced has aliens. It has weed. It has comedy. It has a lot of stuff that I love. And I'm glad you guys made a comic with weed in it. This is Comics and Chronic. Welcome to the show.
Woo.
Hey, yeah,
Thank you for
thanks
having us.
us. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
fan of the show.
Hell yeah. Even better.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
So tell us about yourselves before we get into the comic. I know you guys, so we were just talking about another indie comic that you guys worked on for an anthology. Tell us about how you got into comics. I know you guys are a writing duo, correct?
Correct. Yeah. My name's Eric Allred, and yeah, I got into comics because of Ben. Just because I had like 3 tiers of my life where I got into comics, like as a kid, then in like high school, and then like now. We've all been like different levels of respect as far as, like liking art as like a child, and then like getting into being a blossoming writer as a young adult. Like the following the stories was something that I really enjoyed. And then it was just like, now it's just like the pairing of the two. So I went to school for filmmaking. So screenwriter. And then prior to prior to
Sorry about that.
Ben introducing me to my all-time favorite comic book character, Animal Man. So
Fuck
Animal Man.
yeah,
the Grant Morrison run.
Yeah,
that's the one. That's where I shied him to right away. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
and yeah, he really. I love Animal Man in that run, especially, but he really like took off, and he's like, "Yeah, I just read all of Lemire's run." Like, what? You just got the omnibus? Like, yeah.
yeah. I have that little Animal Man guy right back there.
Oh, nice.
That's sick. I don't think I've ever read Animal Man, but now that you guys,
dude, he's
praising
a perfect pairing of like meta comedy and just like the reluctant hero story. So
yeah. And I think I went there because of like Batman, or Morrison's Batman is like one of the big comics that like pulled me deep in.
Yeah. Morrison's
that's
Batman.
one of our favorite runs.
Yeah, they're chilling right there. But
nice.
I was like Eric. I kind of have several tiers of getting into, like, as a kid, being someone who grew up in the 90s, like I watched all the animated stuff, Batman, Spider-Man, X-Men. And then like I started to find out that you can get more from those characters, like way more in the comics. And that's sort of like where I started to fall deeper and deeper into comics in my teens. And then, like a lot of people, I had like kind of drifted away and had my party years, or whatever you want to call it. And Eric and I ended up working together at this record store in Austin. And that's sort of where we started talking about our idea that turned into Outer Space like 10 years later. But that's when I started to read more of like the Morrison stuff. And then I started to go hunting for like the stuff that people that are into comics say you need to read, like the Invisibles and all that, like everything, like the deep dive stuff. So that's sort of like how I got into comics, was just like liking the characters and needing more of that like lore, and not just like the episodes that felt, like you didn't get enough.
Same. I had a very.
We were just talking about lore the other day. We were discussing Sinestro Corps War.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And some of us didn't know like all of the lore behind it leading into it.
Yeah. That whole, like, just the Green Lantern stuff that, like, with Jeff Johns, like, there's so much to that stuff now. Like, it's crazy.
So much. Yeah.
I too had a tiered thing. I liked comics as a kid, and then Jake specifically got me into comics again when we met in our 20s.
Yeah. Yeah. What really got me into like indie comics, like after that though, like, I don't know, 5, maybe a little more, between 5 and 8 years ago, was like Ed Brubaker. A lot of, like, especially Kill or Be Killed. Like, I read that and just like, holy shit,
it's great.
Comics can be crazy.
I mean, him and Sean Phillips, I'll read anything they make.
Jake's the biggest Ruby baby on the pod.
I'm a big Brubaker slut.
I read Pulp, and like I've only read the first Reckless book, but like that was fantastic.
Yeah. Have you ever read Fatale or Criminal?
No, I just got put Fatale on my my Amazon list. It's like sitting there.
You won't be disappointed.
They're coming out with like a compendium paperback, so you can get the whole thing in like a cheaper format.
Nice.
We did an episode
It's
on
like
that.
July, I think.
Yeah, Jake's a huge Brubaker fan, but I'm kind of the same way. I've only really read Fatale and like a lot of his Marvel stuff, and he did a bunch of DC. I think he has a Batman run. He's done Catwoman, but I've never read.
Was it him who did Gotham Central?
Gotham Central.
Yeah.
He did
That's another one I really like, Gotham Central,
which is great. Gotham Central is amazing.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Outer Spaced.
Yeah. Like what Ben was saying, Outer Space sort of came from just a conversation that we had like 10 years ago outside of this record store. And we were just talking about like how, there's always these alien invasion films or stories that are told that they don't really have leads like us in it. So we wanted to like be like, what would happen if, two stoners were drafted into like an intergalactic war, or somehow became the unsung heroes of an intergalactic war or whatever.
Yeah, or reluctant heroes.
Yeah. that's basically what outer space became. We were originally thinking of like, you know, with me with my film background, we were like, oh, how can we write this into a film? And then it was quickly much more cost effective to make it.
What were we thinking? Like, what were we going to do with the effects? Like as an independent film, what were we?
There was no logic placed there. It was just, but yeah, outer space. That's what outer space is. The Earth is invaded by the Cephalenoid aliens, which are like a squid-based alien, and they're quickly just demolishing Earth's defenses. And the first wave is just wiped out, and so there's a global draft, and we follow a set of reluctant draftees to the global space force.
Just like regular people that should not be like fighting wars.
Two of which are major stoners. Yeah.
Yes. This sounds like...
Which is there's a trickle-down effect there.
I was going to say, the plot you described just sounds like a crossover between that movie where Pauly Shore goes into the army and Starship Troopers.
In the early
Starship Troopers is a little bit of
influence. Yeah. I love Starship Troopers, man.
Yeah, same.
We made like a draft interview, or like a draft video for that was kind of like inspired by like the Starship Troopers.
It was like a skit where it's sort of like the "Would you like to know more?" kind of video, but we sort of mixed that with a Troy McClure Simpsons info video.
Nice, hell yeah!
But that's I think that's on the Kickstarter page that's up, or that'll be up until the 16th. I don't know when this episode will be out. So
yeah, we'll definitely get this episode out start of the week, because I know you guys said so. Okay, so the Kickstarter ends May 16th.
Yes, May 16th at 11 a.m. Central Time.
Nice.
Yeah, and then Thursday.
Thursday.
Next Thursday, yeah.
3 days of promo for you guys.
We gotcha. We'll get it covered.
Hopefully it'll give a boost.
And it has like two issue, like issue 1 and 2. Issue 1 being completed, and issue 2 like a third of the way drawn. It's completely written. We just have to get it finished, and so like there's a lot of that's like for issue 1's 32 pages. Issue 2 is 36 pages. So that's a lot of story there.
Yeah, a lot of bang for your buck.
That's a big ass. That's a big ass book right there. I like that.
We tried to stay true to like the like this sort of like a stoner vibe with like a meandering characters who aren't just in action.
Also, like weed is not just a peripheral item in the story. It becomes very important once certain things come to light. So it's not just like, oh, they're high, but they are.
Perhaps it is a line of defense.
Nice. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
Just like COVID.
Exactly.
I also like to hear that you guys are huge stoners. So like what is your relationship with weed, in the sense that, are like, actually what I want to know is the first time you smoked weed. How what was your experience like?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Okay, I'll go because I have a really specific memory, because I have an older brother, and I like the first time I smoked with him, I was like, I don't know, 15, 14. And we climbed out his window and sat on our roof and smoked a joint. And I was like, it was just like, we didn't talk about anything really. We went back inside and watched Friday.
Nice.
And that was like, it's like kind of a nice brotherly memory, because we don't have a lot of that. we fought a lot.
Weed brings people together.
Yeah, it was just
right.
For sharing.
Yeah, mine. I started smoking much later in life. I was like a little straight edge boy. And
was it like, were you like into like hardcore punk music?
Yeah, like punk just in general. Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic.
And so like, you joined, like, you went down the straight edge route of this.
Yeah.
Nice. Who were some of your favorite straight edge bands, and like people, you know what I mean?
I mean, I love Minor Threat. Like, Ian MacKaye is like a god. So I did really big into them. And then it was just playing in like the I used to play guitar, or I still do. But he's playing in punk bands growing up. You sort of like digging the other like Active Voice. Shout out to a defunct band from several years ago. But yeah, they were like a straight edge punk band. But yeah, now I'm very much still into it, but not straight edge anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
So your first time was
Like, well, I mean, I think I smoked when I tried to smoke when I was like 18 or 19, but it wasn't until like I was like 21 or 22 that I actually started smoking weed. So I
college.
feel like that's probably, yes. Yeah. College. So it was probably a much, I was coming from a much purer place and I fell head over heels from it. So
I'm kind of jealous of that. I mean, you were like, you were like, I'm a budding filmmaker.
Dude, I was a one-hit wonder for so long. So it has like everybody was jealous.
Yeah, that's like the jealousy right there because I quit for a year, like a few years ago. And that's like that first week back, man.
Why did you quit?
I just, my job was like frequently testing me because I was doing equipment maintenance and I was driving their vehicle. So I was like, okay, I'll see what this is like. Not good.
I did like the last time I took a extended hiatus. I think it was like 2016. I was trying to get into a very prestigious culinary program, and you couldn't smoke because you were going to end up like serving people like Congress people and stuff like that. So you couldn't I had to, and I did 6 months and then I was like, man, if I can't be high while I'm working in the kitchen, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. I worked in a kitchen years ago and I was definitely like really high, even though I was cutting shit like with a really sharp knife.
For sure.
Nice. So I wish we knew a little bit more about the comics. So we had more to talk about. So like, can you tell us more just about like, give us some more like meat and potatoes? Like what? So, okay. So it seems like, Starship Troopers is a big influence. What about alien stuff? Like, do you guys actually believe in aliens? Like, do you believe something's going on?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. I think that was actually part of that's part of the influence, I think, of the story. And then I'm not saying I believe I subscribe to this, but Ancient Aliens is sort of like we're taking that mythology and we're using a lot of it and like writing around it and extracting things because like issue 3, we're in Egypt, like we're going there. Like
nice. Okay.
So like the ancient civilization stuff and like secret histories and that kind of stuff was very appealing as far as storytelling wise. And so like we even used to pitch the story as the movie Stripes meets Ancient Aliens, like that. That whole group of like cadets who aren't really like good soldiers that come together behind this like this Bill Murray, John Winger character who's kind of a jerk in his own ways in that movie, but yeah.
And Corey's kind of a jerk in our comic too. So
yeah, who's our main character / our Bill Murray.
Nice.
So yeah, me and Ben actually bonded over our sort of like shared belief in aliens. We saw that movie Fourth Kind and just about melted our brains. But
underrated alien movie, I'd say.
It is. Yeah.
Well, especially at the time, it was before the like smartphone explosion, so I couldn't just Google it. Like, is this shit all real? Right there, I had to like go home and get on my computer
and do actual research.
Yeah,
the
real work. So, have either of you ever seen a UFO?
Oh,
I have a pretty fucking cemented memory in my brain of like coming home from my grandparents' house as a young kid and just driving home. And
where is this, by the way? What state?
So that was in Illinois. So just outside of Chicago is where I grew up. And we were driving home just like to the south suburbs from my grandparents' house. And, you're driving through like suburbia and sort of like undeveloped like cornfields. And I saw a star get very large and disappear behind a house. And only to see like a large disc as we were driving by. And I remember asking my mom, like, what the fuck is that? And not in those words as a young child. But then, she just was like, and then was like, that's nothing. And just like sped up. I remember her like speeding up. So
is your mom in on it? Does she know? Does she know about it? And that's why she don't want to tell you?
I love that detail. Like, like she doesn't want you to like get wind of it and be like, no, they'll think you're crazy.
Get the fuck out of here.
My mother was a man in black. Yes.
But I'm saying.
No, I never got an answer out of her either, because unfortunately she's passed away. So like, I've asked her numerous times throughout like my life, and she was always like, "Oh no, well, I don't remember that." But it's so cemented in my brain. I don't know.
So that makes it like makes you believe it more.
How old were you?
I was like 8 or 9. Like it was like young enough to like have a memory like concrete at my old age now.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I was gonna say, it sounds like your mom works where they keep the aliens.
Yeah,
if
that's the truth. I wish she would have just
that's what I'm
beans.
Extrapolating from this.
They couldn't have waited till I got home.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
flying over our car. Like, God damn it. I never saw one. I'm like Mulder. Like I grew up like believing in him, like I'm looking in the skies. I'm like, never me, everyone else.
That's like what started my obsession with it. I feel like I sound like a crazy person now.
Yeah, I just loved X-Files, man.
X-Files is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like one of my all-time favorite shows.
Yeah, a big part of my childhood, honestly. It used to like really scare me as a child, but
there were some scary
early episodes because they're like really like darkly shot because like their budget was way lower shooting in Canada or whatever.
Yeah. That was
like the guy Toombs, the guy that like elongates himself through like vents.
Yeah,
gross.
Reoccurring characters.
He had a couple. He came back. But yeah, X-Files is actually probably an influence on like outer space in its own ways.
Nice.
Just because there's some pulpiness to X-Files and really like,
oh, for sure.
Like they walk the line of like, is this really, really cheesy? Like, is this really bad? No, it's just campy, right? I don't know.
No, I get what you mean. Totally.
I love X-Files. So
wait, what are the main characters' names in your book? You said
Ori
Nixon. And she was like a grade school teacher, and she's drafted into the Army or into the Global Space Force. And then you have Moses Kelly, who is her dealer and also a chef by all accounts.
Oh, nice.
So,
I love the relationship between like the dealer.
I actually had a dealer named Moses.
Oh, you had a dealer named Moses. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But that's always just fascinated me since, especially, I mean, we both still live in states where we can't just go to the store and grab any. So the relationship between like a buyer and a dealer has always been like, are we friends? Should we not be friends? Should I hang out and talk to you? There's always like a weird relationship.
There are some dealers that you're like, oh, I want this to be strictly business because you sketch me out a little bit.
Yeah.
And there are some that you're like, oh, this is my boy. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't care if you want to talk to me about the band Tool for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I know that guy.
Yeah.
Dealers is crazy.
So what about the art? Can you tell us like who's the artist for this and
thank you.
That's Jacqui Venturini. She's based out of Italy, but she's our series artist. She's done all the artwork for a series.
She did Cyber Pooch was the name of her story. But she did the art for that as well. And honestly, like I wouldn't say keep an eye out for our names, but keep an eye out for her name, like coming up because she's going to be doing shit for sure.
What's her
she's
name
just
again?
Getting better. Jacqui Venturini.
Jacqui Venturini.
And like I think that's just at Jacqui Venturini is her Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And it's like JACQUI. And then Venturini.
Yeah, and she's we've just been lucky enough to see her like basically level up from issue 1 of Outer Space to Cyber Pooch to issue 2. I mean, every time we get pages back, since we're on different time zones, Ben and I are waking up to pages, and it's incredible. It's the best way to wake up.
I think, and we recently found out, just by the way, because we were talking to our friend and like, I guess now coworker, or I don't know what to call it, Brandon of Apollo City Comics. Her art was sort of like what convinced him to finally ask us to be under the Apollo City Comics banner, which we are now for issue 1 and 2. We rebranded our first issue because the first issue we just made ourselves and printed ourselves and just like took to comic shops and asked people. And it was sort of like a guerrilla
Will you
marketing.
read this?
Yeah. And they're like, no one asked for this.
So is that the biggest struggle? Like making your own comic, just getting it in people's hands, letting people know like, hey, this exists?
Initially. For sure,
I think definitely initially. And then it's just like, I would just say like trying to be consistent with, getting work out. I mean, as an independent artist, it's harder to get like, you're not going to get it out monthly if you can, like all the applause, but like we're trying to do it as effectively and quickly as we can. But that's what weighs on myself, at least.
And that's why we have the Kickstarter campaign now. And that's mainly because like we want to keep our artists paid like for every page as soon as we get them, because we've heard so many horror stories about like creators not getting paid, but even by like the independent print comic places you wouldn't think that about. Like, oh man, they're not paying their creators. Man, I was buying that shit.
No, it really sucks. I mean, it kind of sucks too. And just as like independent writers with a comic, like the artists, they definitely have to get paid and they should get paid. But usually as the writer, you're kind of pushing the engine for the comic to be made in the first place and you're not getting paid anything to do. It's still work, but obviously the artist is doing so much work. But I totally understand also like just putting in the work to write these comics and not seeing anything for it, but still making more. Like that's a lot of people wouldn't say yes to that,
I get it.
Cody gets it.
Yeah, and the community has been so great here too. Like the comic community, just in general, but like it's just a very supportive group. So like just that communication and talking to like everybody, like y'all self too. It's just been pretty awesome. Outside of like it's not all industries are as supportive of others competing.
I would say there's not really, it never feels competitive. It just feels like everyone wants each other's book to do well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like what is it? Rising tides lift all ships. Sort of like the best.
Is that like a Benjamin Franklin quote? That's what it says.
Sounds like it.
That's the first Ben Franklin quote on the podcast.
I have no idea if that's where it's from. It just sounds like
we're going to pretend. Yeah.
Penny saved is a penny earned. All right.
Are you guys? What are you guys reading right now?
Oh, yeah, I'm reading so much. It feels like all the time. Like I'm reading Batman, like Zdarsky mainline Batman.
Nice.
Which I've been enjoying. I feel like it's kind of been divisive a little bit lately.
Yes.
Yes, very much. I enjoy
like it. It's a good run. I don't know if I like Joker Year One so much, and then there was all that AI art BS behind it too.
Yeah, it did look weird.
It did. Jake pointed it out to me.
I pointed it out. Yeah, it looked fucking weird.
It does. Yeah, it does. And the Joker thing, I get like the.
Wait, so there was AI art in the new Batman?
Supposedly.
It's alleged.
Highly alleged.
The artist showed the sketches, so I don't know.
Yeah, there's some shenanigans.
AI made the sketches too,
Yeah.
How hard is it? Like, maybe. How hard is it to tell AI to like, hey, make this look like a sketch?
Maybe this person is just AI, and they just don't want you to know
it's not even real.
The thing is, he's a great artist. And like in the past, obviously he couldn't have used AI because it didn't exist. And like you just wouldn't expect it from him specifically. And it's just like, really, dude? Sorrentino?
Yeah. Especially with it's like you're a scab. You stepped the line.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I like to let's see. Barbaric, anything barbaric that comes out, I read from all comics.
I picked up a free issue of that on Free Comic Day of Barbaric, so I'm excited to read it.
Yeah, I think that's the start of the new arc too. Yeah, and the first volume's excellent. There was a one shot that came out, I don't know, 6 months ago, and it was like the funniest fucking comic I'd read in ages. It was like end to end, like hilarious.
Yeah,
but also very full of action. So that's like in outer space. That's what we're going for, like action and comedy.
Hell yeah!
And that guy's just on the new Dick Tracy too, who does.
I jumped on that. I read that first issue, and I dug that Dick Tracy #1.
Really?
I've never read a Dick Tracy comic.
I've never read a Dick Tracy comic. I used to watch the movie all the time.
Yeah. Like as a kid, I had that.
The
like
Warren Beatty movie. I watched the shit out of that movie.
I had like little like fabric dolls of like the guy in the red and black pinstripe suit.
Oh yeah, the gangsters. They all looked weird and fucked up.
Yeah, and. Like the for issue 1 I thought it did a pretty good job of like it wasn't not modernizing because it was still in 1940s, but like reintroducing modern audiences to the character without like heavy-handedly like giving you the whole history of Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
Like cool. Just enough to like intrigue you. And it was like more violent than I expected. Like, oh shit, these guys are all getting Tommy gunned right in front of my face.
Dude, fuck yeah. I think I'm going to check that out, honestly.
We need more Tommy guns.
And then like a bunch of independent Austin comics that Eric sent me because I don't live there anymore. And he's ingrained himself or ingratiated himself into the Austin comic book community now.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of good creators out here in Austin that are Ray Garza of Tank McGregor and Dan
Tank McGregor is really good.
Of Bigfoot Knows Karate.
Oh, I met that guy at Brooklyn Comic Con and I bought that comic. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's rad.
He's like our godfather. Yeah,
really.
Okay. He's so cool.
Of the Austin like group of people, he's like the most. I don't know. I don't know if he's the most experienced. He feels like he's the most experienced, and just he's so welcoming and nice, and he just knows how to get his shit across to people without feeling like abrasive.
Yeah. Very.
Yeah, he sold me on his comic. I was at his table for like a minute. He's like, "Oh, let me tell you about it." And I'm like, "Bigfoot Knows Karate." Okay, yeah. He signed me up real quick.
Eric said something the other day. He said that he basically like grabs you by the collar and shoves his comic into your hand in the nicest way possible, and you're like want him to do it.
He's like I've learned so much just like tabling beside him. But there's.
That's a fun comic too.
There's so many creators out here like that are great just reading. Like David Lujan, who has his Kickstarter is also live. Not to plug Outer Space, but also plugging Narita. And then there's Anton W. Blake, who has like Zethia out, which is a super rad fantasy adventure story that's really sort of internal. It's pretty rad. I highly recommend any of those.
And these are how do we get these? Are these all like just Kickstarter comics, or are these
a lot of the Bigfoot Knows Karate, Tank McGregor, and Narita and Yuruku. Yuriko. I don't know how to speak. They're available on they're on Lesser Known Comics website. Available, nice. And then that Zethia Space Witch from Anton W. Blake. That's available through Cosmic Lion, which is I think is based in or outside of
California publisher,
right?
They're putting some like I don't know that much about them, but they seem to be putting some really cool stuff out. It's been that Anton's is really cool. Like his art, he kind of implements like other forms of media into. It's not just his sketches, but also it takes a picture of like a model he created and implements that into the paneling. Ooh. But Eric, are you? What about like other comics you're reading?
The name of this publisher was what Lion?
Oh, Cosmic
Lion.
Cosmic Lion.
Yeah.
They're also. I think they just got Diamond Distribution. It sounds like I just saw like a post of that. So that's pretty rad. Cool. So.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Are you reading any like mainstream stuff, Eric?
Yeah. Pine and Merrimack. I've been reading and enjoying. That's
Kyle Stokes. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then I've also been enjoying Batman, She-Hulk as well.
Oh, yeah.
And
I'm reading She-Hulk.
Spider-Punk is pretty fucking rad as well.
Oh, Cody Ziegler.
I'm also reading like regular Hulk and regular Thor. Like, I'm reading Immortal Thor and Philip Kennedy Johnson's Hulk.
Oh, that Hulk series is so fucking good.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, it's really good.
Is that after Immortal Hulk?
Yeah. Not directly after, but it's
directly after.
It feels like the true follow-up.
Right. Like I was saying, he's trying to recapture that. Like, I think he said this on here. He's like, we're going even harder.
Yeah. That's
and it's true. It's like extreme, like body horror shit.
That's sick. Hell yeah.
Yeah, because it happens in Immortal Hulk, but like there's panels in this one where it's just like, oh my God, like just the way like his
like gothic horror.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool. I want to check it out.
You just got to check it out.
Who's writing it?
Philip Kennedy Johnson. I talked to him.
That's pretty.
Guarantee Jake doesn't know. He didn't see the episode.
No, not.
So if I want Outer Spaced, where am I getting it?
Yeah, you can, for right now until May 16th, you can hop on the Kickstarter through either like just searching Outer Spaced in the Kickstarter, or you can head over to our Instagram, which we're like posting like mad because we're in the midst of a campaign. So there's like links through there.
At Outer Space
Comic. Yeah. And then, but right now we have like the Munchie pack, which is both issues for like, I think for $20. And
Munchie pack.
Yeah. So you get both of those physical issues, or you can do like the digital, which is $10 for both issues. And like Ben was saying, it's issue 132, issue 2 is 36. It's a lot of story, a lot of characters, and hopefully some jokes as well.
A lot of meat on them bones.
Bones.
So, like, what's the plan for the future of the series? How many issues?
Do you have an ending in mind already, or are you just writing as you go?
We have an idea. Like, we want to do 10 issues. And we have we know where we're going to, where like this ending of the story we want to tell. And we have like plans for these issues. We just have to, move forward and like continue to get funding, because we can't keep doing it ourselves. It's starting to get expensive.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
Oh man.
But
yeah, we have like
3-issue arcs.
3-issue arc plan, and then like a finale issue. Like that's sort of the structure we're aiming at.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And that way we can tuck each 3-issue arc into like a trade.
Nice. Is this the only series you guys are working on? Or are you doing anything separately?
Yeah, both.
Are we breaking you guys up here right now? And then no.
We do write separately, but we're also collaborating on other stuff together as well. It's just
another Apollo City Comics series that hopefully we'll start to, like, after this campaign for Outer Space is over, we'll later this year maybe start to pick up like traction for, and then announce it next year, like the beginning of next year. We've already talked about the title of it on other podcasts.
I feel like it's a known thing. I mean,
it's something that we've a working title, Too High to Die. And it's supposed to sound like, it's a cannabis based story again. So we're becoming the weed comic guys, I guess.
Hell yeah.
But it's sort of like, as the title suggests, it's like over the top action, but in a way that like we're homaging like Die Hard and Lethal Weapon and like that kind of stuff we grew up watching, with like this, like the stoner twist. And then essentially we have like a small town locally owned dispensary being pushed out by big cannabis, big weed coming in and trying to, like, with their cigars and their 10-gallon hats, trying to buy up everything. And it gets to the point where they're like hiring people to come,
take care of
send them a message. And they set up some Home Alone style traps in their dispensary. And this ends up leading to a showdown at the larger cannabis place, which then turns into like a Die Hard where they're trapped inside.
Let's not just give away the whole story.
That's very broad strokes. I just want you. That's where the homage of that comes from. I'm just saying.
You just.
There's no characters given away.
The genie's out of the bottle now.
Oh man, yeah. That's like an anti-capitalist story, basically. It's told through like the lens of like dispensaries and legal weed.
Nice.
Okay.
I like it. No, it sounds awesome. I like. Cool. Well, you came to the right place if you got a weed comic.
Facts and comic.
I think I'm just excited about it.
Yeah. It's definitely something that we've been, it's the most absurd thing that we've written for sure, as far as the comedy that's done.
Absurdity is so fun.
Yeah, I love absurd.
Who's the artist on that?
Now that we're actually still looking, I think, in a way, like we're going to talk to Jacqui about it. We're just not.
We'd love her to do it, but I mean, whether or not she's available we're
not sure if that's something she wants to do it or available. Yeah.
Yeah,
gotcha.
She's
so that's sort of like where we're gonna start there and then go from there. Yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to fucking checking all your projects out. Honestly,
but that's just that's the only other
that's what
thing we got going. Outer Space is like the first thing we ever made, so that's like what we're focusing on.
Nice. We've been trying to talk to some indie people on here. Not just people that are working for the big two or It's even kind of weird sometimes to think like any of like Image and all that stuff is indie. In my head, I still say indie, but I feel like guys like you and people that
They're
are just
big indie.
Yeah, it might be micro. Or something.
Yeah, like what? It's almost like we need a new name or something. But
well, it's these. I would say that Image now is like the alternative, but they're not indie. They're not like independent. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Dark Horse too.
Yep.
Yeah, referring to them as independent is the same as like referring to a band like, I don't know, Arcade Fire, who sells out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As independent.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, like places like Lesser Known Comics and Apollo City Comics and Cosmic Lion, those are like the new, like the tide of independence coming up on like Kickstarter, and they're like websites that you can pre-order stuff. So I don't know exactly where the future lies, because there's like a weird balance right now between Kickstarter and people doing like Patreon and their own websites. So I don't know exactly what's gonna end up like coming out, but yeah, like there's this huge rise of indie comics,
and all these others like other comic publishing companies, they're all using Kickstarter too. So it's like for like the
right. So that's like weird, kind of like why does IDW need use Kickstarter?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
So we can raise $50,000. Like, oh, okay, 50,000 in one day, and we're struggling to get to 1,500. We're funded, but
yeah.
Oh, nice. Wait, so you guys the campaign's funded by this point?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay.
We had like a
$1,000 goal.
Yeah, we had a 420 session, like a smoke session that we were just like on Instagram Live, and while we were having a live drawing of one of our aliens. Yeah, we hit that goal on pretty special.
Yeah, we did like a 420 like live session all day and just hung out.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I think we're at like 14 something, but on we need to push as much as we can, obviously, to get push into the next issue. And really like we're going to struggle just to get like our artists paid and distribute everything printed and distributed, which is that's the game. That's fine. And just it's not awesome. Like 1,000 is like, okay, we're done. We got to keep trying as best we can to get that final push as to help us out at the end.
No, for sure. I hope everyone listening could check it out. Is there anywhere else you want to point people as social medias for you guys that you want them to come check you out at? Anything. This is your time to tell the commies what they want to hear.
We mostly operate with Outer Space through that at Outer Space Comic on Instagram. We do have, I think we're on Facebook as well as X.
It's sort of just Twitter. Connected to the Instagram, so we don't have to like go on Facebook and mess with it, because it's just like my parents and like their friends like, what are you doing now, guys? I mean, that's sort of what it's turned into, to be honest.
No, I totally get that.
But Instagram is the best.
It's weird. My mom's like sharing our comic, and it's like weird seeing her share like my like weed based comic posts. It's like, look at my son's work. She doesn't sound like that.
Yeah, I was like, what?
She listens to this. She's going to be angry. Like, I sound like a crone.
That's so funny. But we're both on Instagram independently. But check out Jacqui Venturini.
Yeah,
and then
you'll see us at the Outer Spaced one. So
yeah, we're there. But Apollo City Comics is been super supportive.
They're our parent publisher.
Yeah. And then what's it? Lesser Known Comics.
Lesser Known Comics?
Yeah.
Essentially, Lesser Known Comics is like, if you broke it down to being like DC, Lesser Known Comics would be DC, and Apollo City Comics is like when Vertigo existed.
Okay, that makes sense. I get that.
So they're like trying to put out more of that kind of like darker, bigger swing, adult oriented kind of stuff on Apollo City.
And a little silly. We're a little
silly, yeah, obviously. But yeah, there's definitely some silly stuff on Vertigo. I mean, I think I had like Punk Rock Jesus is pretty silly.
Yeah, I love Punk Rock Jesus.
Yeah, it's chilling back there.
Punk Rock Jesus.
Oh yeah,
it's one of my favorites.
Nice. You have to read that.
Eric hasn't read it. I've been trying to get him to read it. Yeah, sorry.
Dude, Anthony, we should cover Punk Rock Jesus for Easter next year.
Ooh, I mean, I have it somewhere. Here. Punk Rock Jesus. I've never read it, but I have.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's great.
I love it. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I got to get on that. I have Punk's Not Dead. that I haven't read either.
Oh, what's that about?
It's what is it? Martin Simmons did the art. I haven't read it yet.
Oh, that like Martin Simmons, like trippy fucking the Department of Truth stuff.
Oh man, he's great.
Yeah,
I saw this. We have like half price books out here. I was like, I'm definitely picking that up. So that's like on my big to read pile.
Right, Department of Truth is like one of my favorite comics as recently.
Hell yeah, me too. I
didn't mention that one.
I'm a big Department of Truth and Something's Killing the Children fan.
Yeah. I'm not caught up on that, but I read like the first 3 arcs and I was like enthralled like through that.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Have you guys checked out Nice House on the Lake?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
I have this. I have read that in singles. I think I have those. Yeah.
So good.
That was another really, really good one. Man, he just kills it, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he does. James Tynion's fucking. He churns out like
he
hits.
turns out fire.
Yeah, like easily, seemingly easily. Like I don't know,
seemingly easily. Yeah.
I even read his what's it called? Young adult book, Wind.
Yeah.
That looks good, awesome. Man.
It is good, and like the art is so cool. And I'm like, man, this is kind of like even his young adult shit's cool. It's I like his work.
That's awesome.
Total.
Hell yeah.
Well, fuck yeah. Well, Eric Allred, Benjamin Collins, thank you for coming on and talking about your comic book, Outer Spaced.
Thanks a lot for having us on here. It was fun. I love talking about just random comics and bullshit.
Hell yeah.
Hey. If that's what you like talking about, then you've come to the right place. We excel in random comics and bullshit.
I have conversations with the podcast you don't hear. I'm like, you're talking to people, you're like, alien or aliens? I'm like, it's alien! Alien!
Facts.
That's the right answer.
Seriously, thank you guys for coming on.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we'll be seeing each other.
2 ships passing in the night.
All raising each other.
There we go.
Tying it together.
All right, later, guys.
Peace.
Later.
Hi, you're listening to Comics and Chronic, and I'm Jacob H.
I'm Cody Cannon.
And I'm Anthony Iannaccio.
And you can tune in every Thursday to hear new episodes of Comics and Chronic.
And make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Comics and Chronic. That's Comics, the letter N, Chronic.
We'll see you guys next week.
Woo!
Peace.